Inflation, a pervasive economic phenomenon, involves the steady rise in the general price level of goods and services within an economy. This essay delves deeper into the intricacies of inflation, exploring its causes, far-reaching effects, and the strategies employed to manage its potential ramifications. Inflation's origins can be traced to a multitude of factors, each contributing to its development. One pivotal driver is the interplay between demand and supply. When demand surpasses supply, prices naturally begin to escalate as consumers compete for limited goods and services. This demand-pull inflation is a common occurrence, often arising in periods of economic growth when consumers' purchasing power expands. Conversely, cost-push inflation emanates from the increased cost of production inputs, such as raw materials, labor, and energy. When these costs rise, producers are compelled to pass on the expenses to consumers in the form of higher prices. This inflationary mechanism can be amplified by supply shocks, such as disruptions in oil supplies or crop failures, which disrupt production and cause prices to spike. The ramifications of inflation are extensive and touch every corner of the economy. One of the most pronounced impacts is the erosion of purchasing power. As prices ascend, consumers find themselves allocating larger portions of their income for the same goods and services, leading to reduced overall consumption and economic efficiency. Furthermore, inflation influences income distribution dynamics. Those with fixed incomes, such as retirees or individuals with long-term employment contracts, often bear the brunt of inflation. Their income remains stagnant while the cost of living surges, effectively reducing their standards of living. In contrast, individuals with variable incomes or those who own assets like real estate or stocks that appreciate with inflation may experience a relative improvement in their financial situation. The quantification of inflation is a complex task, undertaken through the use of various indices and indicators. The Consumer Price Index, CPI, is among the most widely employed tools, tracking the price changes of a basket of goods and services representative of consumers' typical expenditures. The inflation rate, calculated as the percentage change in the CPI over a specified period, provides an annualized measure of inflation's extent. Governments and central banks employ a range of monetary and fiscal strategies to manage and control inflation. One such tool is monetary policy, which involves adjusting interest rates to influence borrowing and spending behavior. By raising interest rates, central banks aim to reduce consumer spending and investment, thereby curbing inflation. Conversely, lowering interest rates stimulates economic activity, potentially leading to higher inflation. Fiscal policy can also play a role in inflation management. Governments may employ contractionary fiscal measures, such as reducing public spending or increasing taxes, to dampen aggregate demand and mitigate inflationary pressures. Similarly, expansionary fiscal policies involving increased government spending and tax cuts can stimulate economic activity and alleviate deflationary pressures. Central banks often navigate a delicate balance between maintaining price stability and promoting economic growth. This dual mandate requires policymakers to consider not only inflation but also the broader macroeconomic context. Achieving the optimal equilibrium involves making informed decisions that consider the prevailing economic conditions and the potential consequences of monetary policy actions. Inflation, a multidimensional economic phenomenon, resonates across the realms of economics, politics, and individual households. While its causes are multifaceted and its effects wide-ranging, inflation is not a purely negative force. Moderate inflation can stimulate consumption and investment, supporting economic growth. Effective management of inflation, however, remains crucial for maintaining the well-being of societies and ensuring equitable distribution of resources. As policymakers, economists, and individuals grapple with inflation's intricacies, their efforts collectively shape the economic landscapes of the present and future.